Hello to all of you. I want to hold my speech about the Trusted Service Management introduced by Mike in the first part of this session. And I would like to show you our ideas to make that, to manage that on the smartphone. So first of all, I will tell you something about us, about the Deutsche Telekom Security, who we are. Then something about the legal backgrounds that are based on the system we build up currently. Then our main challenges in our systems, because to make a trusted service management system, we had to deal with many challenges, and I will show you a few of them. After this, our solution that we are building up. Then more to come, what we are doing, like the SUM implementation and so on. And after that, the final conclusion. So first of all, who we are. For example, I myself work around 22 years in smart card industries, and right now in Deutsche Telekom Security, we, for example, have our only smart card operating system, TECOS, which is in almost all of the ID cards in Germany, which is in the passport system, and so on and so on. So it's a little bit different because of you see the slides a little bit different. We have our own fonts, so maybe, but I hope you can see all of that. And we are a bigger company of the Deutsche Telekom group with round about 1,700 employees, and we operate in the whole Europe and the world system. So first of all, something about the legal background. The one thing is the new eIDAS regulation. And for us, we have 3 points that I want to focus out. The first focus is the increase of acceptance and market reach. A big problem is that the usability of a system has to be increased. And currently, for example, when I want to use my German ID card, I have to have my smartphone, I have to have my card, and it's a little bit difficult to manage it here. So it's much easier to bring it on the smartphone and then to have bigger acceptance for that. And we have to figure out next steps, how it can be more accepted. After that, support a wide range of use cases. You know that is a problem of a joint market. On the one hand side, you need the support of technical stuff. On the other hand side, you need to support use cases. But for example, if you do not have use cases, it's a little problem to bring it in the field. For example, every German has a PIN on their card, but many of them have forgotten their PIN because they don't use it that often. And the idea is to use it much more often in other countries, for example, to make it usable, and it's much easier to know your PIN and to use the card. After that, and the third point I want to figure out is development of technical standards. We are working together with GlobalPlatform, joined GlobalPlatform around about 2 years ago. And this is very interesting for us to see the work there and to work together with them and to see how to implement such a solution. The other legal background is the new German Act on ID cards. I have focused out our this act here. It's a little bit not technical. It's a juridical voice, but what they say is you can replace your ID card, your physical ID card, with a smart eID, and you have a secure electronic storage process where you bring it on the card. And the derivation storage of the ID card has to be done in a very secure way. And we are talking about this secure way in the later section. So, okay, just a moment. A little problem with jumping here. Next one. Okay, our challenge. Okay, first of all, on the one hand side, we have our German ID card. You see, she's born in 1965, so she's around about 60 years old. She's really young now, but you see it's the German card here has been invented around about 2008, 2009. It became in place in Germany 2010, and it is due to German ID law, as I said, and it's evaluated eIDAS high. And what we want to do is to transport it on the smartphone, on the ESE and EUSEC, and maybe on some SIM card solution, but maybe later on. And this also works with the German ID law, and it should also become up to eIDAS high. That's our idea. So next one, the main challenge is how to transport it on the card. And the solution for that is some kind of trusted service management system. On the one hand side, when you look at the slides here, you see the service provider for the smart eID, these other service providers, and they want to get their applications on the secure elements ESE or EUICC. And the transport way is a little bit difficult because when every service provider has to hold every contract with every secure element provider, you will have thousands of contracts in there, and we want to have one single way for transporting it, and that is the Trusted Service Management System. And this Trusted Service Management System itself, it's based on different GlobalPlatform standards, like for example the specification of the card specification, the OMAPI specification for the Open Mobile RPNs, and so on and so on. The different specifications are very interesting. They had been brought to the field in the last 10 years, I say. We work on the older specifications, on the current specifications, but what we want to do is to bring on the new specifications like SCP-11C and so on. I will show it later. We deal with two different kinds of secure components. On the one hand side, we deal with ESEs, with those embedded secure elements from the OEMs. And on the other hand side, we would like to deal with EUICCs and UICCs. These are the components of our MNOs, of our mobile vendors who would also come inside the system to come on as many smartphones as possible. Yes, and for that, as Mike said, we have this project, this special Smart eID project. The first side, we have the eID app development, the Ausweis App 2 it's called, from Governicus. In the middle point, we have the Bundesdruckerei with the Smart eID applet and the personalization service. And on the third side, we have the Trusted Service Management System of our side. And it's all the button of that, it's all the BSI who looks what we are doing, how we are doing it, and to has the technical guideline TR 3165 for that, how it has to be implemented. So the Trusted Service Management can be used to bring different kinds of applets on the smartphone. So it doesn't depend which applet you want to bring on it. You can bring the Smart eID applet, you can bring another ID card applet, you can bring, for example, the VDV applet for our German e-ticketing system. We have a big e-ticketing system with around about 11 million users in Germany that can also be brought on the system. And what you can do, you can bring it every kind of applet on the system. And our idea is to address as many service providers as possible. More to come. It's something about the GSMA sum, for example. On the one hand side, we would like to address the GSMA sum. As you know, currently, if you want to address an EUICC, you have to address the MNOs. You have to address the MNO profile 1, profile 2, profile 3. And for example, if you write your applet on one profile and you switch from one profile to the other, for example, you have a multi-channel product, then you can't use any applet in the MNO profile 1. It's not possible. So you have to switch again, and this takes time. So switching takes a few milliseconds, but you will feel it. You will feel the switch, and so that's not good. And currently, the idea is to make some SD. Yolanda will say anything more about that later. And to bring every applet in the system, but it will be a very big discussion who runs the system later, but I think it's some point for the panel discussion. Another point of further development is the SAM configuration for EUICCs, as I say. Device attestation functionalities. One of our challenges were the attestation, how to find smartphone, how to address a secure element. Right now, those functionalities are optional, and the GP works on this attestation mechanism right now that we formulate some kind of profile. We give the profile to the system, and the system says, okay, the secure element has this functionalities, and then we can decide if the Smart eID or another applet would run on the system. And it's a very, very good idea. I think currently I talked with Jeremy about that, and he said it will be brought out in next week roundabout, and then we will look at this, how this can be managed there. And the third one is the secure channel protocol, SCP-11C and SCP-4, Amendment F and K. The SCP-11C, for example, is a secure channel protocol with an offline possibility to bring it there offline, not online. They're the script-based. You bring the scripts on the secure element, and then they're installed at the time they want. And the SCP-04 is for post-quantum cryptography. You have the possibility to bring new cryptographic functionalities on the smartphone. And after that, the fourth part is the secure element management service, where those providers can manage their own applets on the SE. We build up the channel, for example, and say you can manage them yourself. And this is also might be a good idea to make it a little bit easier to manage the stuff, but that's future discussion. Okay, last point, we have our conclusion. It's only a little confusion. First of all, we have the eIDAS regulation that defines secure and open platform EID digital identity wallets. And this should support a wide range of use cases. And we are working together on different kind of standards for the Commons UID toolbox. Then we have the TSMS, as I described. That is a tool provisioning applets on the smartphone. That's a tool that supports eIDs as well as other applets. And this is a good and strong basis for transporting data on the smartphone. We have some kind of attestation mechanisms that we have done it correctly and so on, so it can be evaluated very good. And the third part is future development stuff. To make the future development and to make it a little bit more easy and a little bit more easy to bring the eID card on the smartphone. Okay, thank you very much for a short overlook about that. Thanks.
Do we have any questions in the room? I think we have time for maybe one, and then we can leave it after for the panel. No questions? All right. Thank you so much, Christian. Okay. We'll continue with the panel. So I am going to, so there is a question? Yes. Okay. Is there any constraints with regards to the available resources? Sorry. To be able to be heard online.
Is there any constraints with regards to the available resources in the ICC and how this is handled within the TSMS?
It's a problem of resources. As I described, we have the profiles for the secure elements. And we have to have a look if these profiles are usable, if the secure element is usable for the smart EID applet. So, or for the applet you want to port on the smartphone. For example, we say on this smartphone we have the following functionality. We have this Java OS, we have this CSP functionality, we have and so on and so on. We have those certain kinds of functionalities on the one hand side, and on the other hand side we have the stuff that the provider wants to have in minimum to transport the applet on the smartphone. And we can manage that together to say, yes, it will work or no, it won't work. And we will tell the system to say, no, this doesn't fit because it has too low level. For example, for legacy devices, this won't work. We have a different kind of functionality right now. For example, for the smart EID project, we wanted to port the secure element or the functionality on older legacy devices. And what we did, there was a soft CSP developed that is brought as an applet on the smartphone. And in the second step, you use this applet with a soft CSP. That's not the final solution because the final solution should be an implemented CSP. But for the first legacy devices, it is possible to bring other stuff on that. But this has to be a discussion with the provider, what he wants to have. Thanks.